Hey, welcome to my channel. Hey Glennie, I'm Glennie, and this is a video on living with bipolar. If this is your first time here, hit the like and subscribe. If this is your second time here, welcome back. Today, we're going to be talking about bipolar. So I have bipolar type 1. What's that? What's bipolar anyway? What is bipolar anyway? What is bipolar anyway? Well, bipolar is defined as having unusual shifts of mood and energy, from feeling very energetic, high, to feeling severely depressed and sad. And you usually have a shift between the two. You could have your manic episode, which is the high energetic feeling, for maybe a week to 2 weeks, and same with the depressive episode. And there's two types. Bipolar 1 is where your manic episode is very noticeable. It's a full-blown episode that lasts anywhere from a week to 2 weeks. And bipolar 2 is where you have hypomanic episodes, where it's a little less than a usual manic episode. And both can have depressive episodes within both types. So how is it living with bipolar type 1? I can start off with my story, how I got diagnosed. I was diagnosed at the age of 15 in high school. I know a lot of people don't see symptoms until their early 20s maybe, but for me, it showed up pretty early. At that time, I was going through so much. I was going through so much in high school during that time. And I needed help. During that time, I was skipping school, cutting classes. I was just on a high like every single day. I would have like panic attacks, anxiety. I would disrupt the school because my panic attacks would take place in the hallways. I'm sure some of my friends that I'm still cool with from high school remember those times, and it was very disruptive for the school. It was disruptive for me. I felt embarrassed. There was rumors going around calling me crazy, schizo, and all this other stuff that teenagers say. I went to a small performing arts high school in Brooklyn. Shout out to BHSA. Yep, I'm gonna shout out, because I know some of y'all are watching. Some of y'all, we're still cool to this day, and thank you for not judging me at that time, at the time of when I needed, a good support system. But anywho, and during that time, I would have these crazy thoughts, like I felt invincible. I felt like nothing can stop me. I had these grandiose type of thoughts. I would like cross the street. Okay, crossing the street in New York City is not like any other metro area. It's very crazy. There's lots of cars, speeding, traffic, and I would just jaywalk, knowing cars are coming and thinking, ain't no car gonna hit me. And I really had that type of mindset for everything that I was doing during those manic times. It got to the point where the school finally stepped in. The school finally stepped in and said, okay, you need help. Like, something needs to be done, because this is disruptive and you can't keep going on like this, right? I saw the guidance counselor, and she, would talk to me, and I'm telling her, hey, I understand what you're saying, but my parents, they're not going to understand what you're saying. Like, mental health is not something that they're know about. And my parents are Haitian. They're Haitian immigrants, and that's definitely something they're not well aware about mental health. You know, they're just wondering what's up with their kid. So it got to the point where they had to suspend me from school in order for me to get help. Can they do that? I don't know, but they did it. And basically told my mom and dad that if I don't come back with a note from the doctor saying I'm seeing a psychiatrist or I'm currently in therapy, I cannot come back to school. I don't know how legal that is, if that's even something that they could do or if it's within policy, but I wasn't too mad about it because it did get to a point where I did need help, and I'm a minor. I can't get help myself. I've even had deans come to my school. Deans come to my house talking to my parents about my issues. Because I would write these letters like suicidal notes or vent notes, and they would find them. I don't know how they would find them, but I guess they would like fall out my pocket. I don't know, but they would find them and then come to my house to talk to my parents about it. And my parents would just be like, okay, we'll talk to her. Nothing got done. You know what I mean? I don't think they even knew what to do in that sense. So it got to that point. Well, seeing the psychiatrist, seeing the therapist, I was not only diagnosed with bipolar, I had other diagnoses also, which were general anxiety disorder, trichotillomania, and basically panic disorder. And that's pretty much it, along with the bipolar. I got diagnosed with something else later on in my adulthood, but that's for another video. We're talking about bipolar right now. So boom, got the diagnosis. All right, now I know what's wrong with me, why I go through these periods of high energy. And my period of mania lasted for a good while. It wasn't just like a week or two. Like it was pretty intense. And they did offer medications at that time, but like I said, my parents aren't into all of that, so they denied medication. Now, being an adult, looking at it from an adult point of view, I wish I was on some type of medication. I'm on medication now, and the stigma behind it just needs to go away because it helps me a lot. It helps me keep neutral. It helps me keep focused on things, and my moods aren't shifting so quickly, you know? So I just went through therapy and learning coping mechanisms, which helps, but I feel like it takes a system of both for me personally. But anywho, so when I go through my mania, it usually lasts for a while, and that crash after, from being so high for a while, insomnia, can't sleep, forget to eat, I'm on the go, and like my thoughts are racing and scattered all over the place, and I just feel like I'm on top of the world. I can handle everything, and I get a little irritable. Okay, I do get irritable, you know, trying to get things done, but I'm here, I'm there, I'm everywhere. So the crash that comes down from there, whoo, I get into a deep depression where I'm just crying all day, in the bed all day, don't want to shower, don't want to eat, don't want to take care of myself, just thinking of every single horrible possibility, reality that could happen to me, when honestly, it's all in my head. Looking back on those times, it was really bad. And I say was because since I'm on medication, they don't happen as often as they used to. If I have a breakthrough where I'm manic or depressive, it doesn't happen too much, as long as I stay current on my medications. You know, it's just very sad. I remember in college, that was a really deep, like, one of my worst bipolar episodes, I would say. And the thing is, no one knew. No one thought anything of it. Like freshman year, I was manic most of the year. Partying, drinking, just the life of the freaking party. Like, people just thought that's how I was naturally, like just a natural high, just on it. I didn't need anything, honestly. Even if I wasn't drinking, I didn't really need it. Like, I just had this utmost energy to just get everything done. Like, I was here, there, everywhere. Every event I was at every party, every frat party, everything. I was there, okay? And not only was I there, I was living it up, okay? And like I said, this is freshman year, so nobody knows you, right? They don't know the real you from before, from high school. These are new people, so I made a name for myself, pretty much. And then here comes sophomore year. Sophomore year came, and I crashed. Like, you wouldn't find me in any event. I was like missing in action. I was sad all the time. It was hard for me to make it to class. I was one of those adult, whatever, college students that just rolled out of bed in their pajamas and showed up to class. I know. At that time, do you really think I gave a fuck? Like, no. I just tried to make it to class just to get that credit. And I would go back home and go to sleep. So I was sleeping, crying, go to class, come back home to my room and do the whole thing over again. And that went on for a couple months. And people really didn't pay attention. Nobody really noticed that I essentially virtually disappeared. Only those that was very close to me. But even then, they were confused. I wasn't sure what was happening to me either. Like, it reminded me of high school, but I was on medication. I wasn't seeing a therapist or anything. Finally, after sophomore year, I went home. I did not go back to school until years later. I did not go back. I just knew something was wrong and I needed to get myself together. So the thing with bipolar and getting help is that confusion of, is bipolar the real me? Is this my personality? Or is this the disorder that's coming out? And at times it's hard to know which is what when you've been going through the cycles over and over again. That was my thing. Like, at that time, I did not want any medications because I was worried that it will turn me into a zombie, or it will turn me to a different person that I don't recognize. And I'm like, this is who I am. Like, I'm this, I'm that, I'm the life of the party. Like, this is gonna turn me down. No, when really it was being manic. I was manic, okay? Like, I had to be real with myself. I was manic. And I needed help. Like, you can't go through life acting like that, you could really hurt yourself and make impulsive decisions, which I did. And I'm glad that I survived through all of that, Come to find out, after finally, getting on medications, I realized that bipolar is not my personality. I am still Glennie. I'm still the life of the party. It's just more controlled in a way, more safe, not so impulsive in doing things. And I hope that with my experience, people can understand that the stigma behind being bipolar and the stigma behind being on medications, there doesn't need to be that. It doesn't need to be that way, especially if you really need the help. Being on medications does not have to be a negative as it sounds. The only thing I can say is going through and finding out what works for you. That's the only hell I can say on getting on medications, is finding what cocktail, what brand, which one works for your disorder. Like for bipolar, you cannot just prescribe us antidepressants because it's gonna get our depressive low. Okay, cool, we don't have any depressive episodes, but that's gonna shoot our mania high. You know, we need a balance. It's a mood shift. It's a mood disorder. We can't, you know, stuff out one and then forget the other one. So we need a mood stabilizer to help for both our manic and our depressive episodes. And a good doctor would know that. And that's another thing, like bipolar often goes misdiagnosed as severe depression or borderline personality. Like, it's so many different disorders out there that they don't give the right attention to what it is exactly. I was lucky, I would say I was blessed that I was diagnosed properly, and even at a young age they knew what it was, because when I described my manic episodes, the doctor was like, yeah, that's bipolar. Like, I wanted to like jump out my window. Like, I had a whole plan set up, and not to jump out my window because I wanted to kill myself. No, I just thought I was the shit, that I could jump out my window and land gracefully. I'm laughing while saying this. I thought I could jump out my window and land gracefully and be the shit and be like, boom, there it goes. I just did that. I really had thoughts like that. And that's just one of the many grandiose thoughts I had, you know, being invincible. When it comes to my parenting, I think my children aren't quite aware. Like, I told them I have it and I try to explain to them, and they're just like, okay, mom, cool, whatever. But I know when I do have like some hypomania, some manic episodes, they think I'm like the most funnest mom ever. I don't even know if that's the word, funnest, but they think I'm the most fun mom ever because I am ready to go. I am ready to do everything. I think I tire them out. But when I'm in my depressive episode, it is a sad thing to see. Like, they want me up and at them, and it is very hard. That's when we do a lot of indoor activities, and I try to put things within their reach for them to do. Like, I force myself to get up and get them situated. Like, I make sure food is reachable. I make sure they take their baths and everything, and they have activities and stuff to do. Like, it can be pretty debilitating, but that's why I'm thankful for my village and my support system that's able to help me in those times that I need. And thankfully, I'm on medication, so it does not happen as often as it used to. And there are coping strategies that I use in particular that I'll be able to share in another video. I don't want this one to go way too long, and why not break it up so you could find the information when you need it and when you want it. And with that,
make sure to subscribe. Yay! Yeah.